All right, we on another episode of Bear Trap. I am struggling, so we're just gonna jump right into it. Look, I'm gonna try to answer these questions, but the biggest thing that I want to say to everybody: number one, check the description of the video. I have links to other videos that I always put in there, but I never tell people to check that. Thumbs up, subscribe, all those things really help grow the channel. Again, I'm not a for-profit channel, but obviously those things help, and it motivates me to push through like this to do these things. So please do that. The second thing, and this is probably the biggest thing, we have SpeakPipe. It is in every video that I put. It gives you how you can go to it. I think it might be in the description as well. It gives you the link to the website. SpeakPipe is a way for you to leave a voice message for me, and I am doubling down back on that. So I've not been into it for a while and checking it. People haven't been sending anything, but I want to really double down on that. Not only do I want to run up the storage that I have right now, I want to get so much incoming, messages that I'm forced to get a premium package. And so if y'all are interacting on that level, I'll pay for that package and it'll be, we'll be good. So speakpipe.com/boomerbus, whatever it is. I'll make sure it's in the description actually. And then also it's always in the video when it's playing. So if you just listen to this while you're driving and everything, take a second to go to that. Leave a voicemail. You can ask me a question. You can give me a comment, whatever. Now, my plan is to put it on, the video. So if you say something, I'm put it there and then I'm gonna answer it. But if you don't want it on the video, you can say that. You can say you don't want me to play your voice message. You could just say I want you to answer the question. Whatever. We're trying to up the engagement here, so that's one of the big things to talk about. All right, so I'm gonna go through these questions. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Bears Packers, and I mean a little bit, and we're gonna be done because I'm not sure what's going on, but I am struggling right now. I'm on struggle bus. All right, so number one, uh. I don't know how to read these things. I'm not good at this. So I'm gonna say JR Spook JDM 8849. Do you see a scenario where Caleb Williams gets shipped out for someone who is a better fit for the Ben system, especially if there's no significant improvement in the passing game next year? All right, so first of all, you're talking about next year, and we gotta know how this year ends. Second, what point of next year? So this is Caleb's second year. Next year will be his third. We begin around that time of the what's that called? The 5th-year option. All those things. But to answer the question in general, I would say yes. I could absolutely see a scenario because I've talked about this before. I don't remember exactly which video to point you to, but around the time of the Ben Johnson hiring, and I've been talking about this in general. This year has been me breaking down narrative analysis by sports media and all that. All that to say is that you talk about who's got the social high ground, if you want to say that, or the cachet. What did people call it? The clout, whatever you want to call it. And when we're in this situation, which I talked about when Ben was getting hired, as much cachet as Caleb has as the number one pick, being a quarterback, his pedigree, Heisman, all that. That doesn't matter as much these days when we've seen quarterbacks get chopped pretty early. But on top of that, Ben Johnson came after him, and I think that's the biggest thing. Um, well, I wouldn't say it's the biggest thing. It's the second biggest thing. The biggest thing is that he's actually delivering on the promise of being like this offensive, guru, as they say. So, even though he's the head coach, he's not an OC. He's not a quarterback coach. The fact that the offense and what he's doing is so respected in the league, he's got that clout over Caleb Williams, especially if Ryan Poles was to end up getting fired next year or whatever in this scenario. So either way, though, even if Ryan Poles stay, I just think the way that the Bears pursued him, the way that he wanted to be pursued, turning down Washington's job, really, all the things he did, he wanted to be the guy. And so, even though football normally isn't like this, but in the NFL, people want to rank like the guys. Like Ben Johnson is the guy number one over Caleb. Caleb is not the guy. This ain't the same thing like Cam Ward and his head coach getting fired and so on and so forth. We know a lot of examples. So in my mind, Ben Johnson is the guy. He's the asset. He's the number one asset. And as talented as Caleb is, Ben said it, is no matter how much he wants to walk it back, he said we're winning in spite of the passing game. I can guarantee you from a lot of conversations of coaches and people who are into the Ben Johnson, and I don't mean Ben Johnson system like he created it, but it's the Ben Johnson system that he's a part of. Whoever created it, a lot of people are doing this stuff, and the quarterback is holding you back. So I could absolutely see a scenario where Caleb gets shipped out, especially like I said today's game, because of the salary cap, and I talked about this a lot in other videos, so I apologize to new listeners. But in today's game, with the salary cap and the way things are going, teams move off people quicker, and they're more apt to look for future assets than they are current players. So Caleb, for sure, I could see a scenario where he, especially, and we'll see obviously what the Packers do, but there's just so many scenarios that screaming to put Caleb in that spotlight, and if it doesn't look good, especially in the playoffs where everybody's watching, I could see, not necessarily this offseason, but like you said, next year, I could see that scenario where Caleb gets shipped off. All right, next, Hawaiian Time 7702, long time viewer. How do you think we match up with the run game against the Packers defense? So the Packers have a lot of bodies, a lot of different players. Devontae Wyatt is out this game, but it looks like they're getting Quay Walker back. The two that you got to worry about, and I went to the film to watch this because I've been watching the Packers that closely, but the two you got to worry about is Edgerrin Cooper and Rashawn Gary. Those are the two that are going to get off blocks, and they're going to have a high motor. And so, looking at the Lions game, for anybody that has access to the All-22, or if you just want to watch the game, gives you a good indication of what you're expecting, because, and to be honest, the Packers, they practice against somebody that's in that similar vein. Like Ben Johnson and his class of offensive guys, are not far removed from the Shanahan tree. And so we know Mike LaFleur's from there. Obviously, you've seen McVay. We know the 49ers. So it's a lot of 12 personnel. It's a lot of extra blockers. It's just a little more funky and a little more new school. And so the Packers are used to that. And so playing against the Lions, you could really see what they were going to do. And I mean, I think it's all on a second level. Like, and it's probably like that in most games, but this game for sure. Because as I told you with the Eagles when we were watching the film, like the linebackers really made the difference in the run game. Even though Jalen Carter, for whatever he is or what he's not, Jordan Davis, we do our job. The linebackers, if they're not in the right spot, that's tough. So when I'm watching the Lions versus the Packers, it's just Cooper. He's a guy, he's going to get off blocks. Rashawn Gary's going to get off blocks. And so if you're not 100% dialed in, that's going to be the difference. And people might not think it. Every play might be 2 yards here, might be 1 yard there. And they might not think that's the difference, but that is 100% the difference. The Packers are very aggressive. Michael Parsons, I'm not worried about. Now, my opinion, I think what I think is going to happen is that we're going to end up running at Parsons. But I think whether it's Parsons or Gary, we're going to attack the edge with some off speed pitches, meaning we're going to do some zone reads. We're going to do some I expect to see a lot more counter trap, where we're going to put the edge out in space so that they either got to make a read or somebody's coming to kick them out. I think that's what we're probably going to do, because the inside guys are decent, but I'm not worried about them. Again, Quay is coming back. McDuffie, I wasn't super worried about, because once he gets blocked, he kind of stays there. But Quay is coming back, and I think he's similar, but he's just more athletic. And Cooper, like I say, gets off blocks, and Gary. So it'll be interesting. Do we attack Parsons straight up and stay away from Gary? I expect Parsons is going to be on Ozzie if he is the left tackle. And if that's the case, we just leave him backside. He's not going to do much. But then you got Gary play side, and it's like, okay, what are we going to do to take him out? So, I mean, in my mind, like I said, we could double team that, try to hit the perimeter, but I also could see a world where we try to leave the edge out in space and try to run around them, or do some trap blocking like we did last time. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think Ben and his angles and the way we do things are interesting. I think in terms of man for man, the Packers aren't crazy. Like I said, Gary and Cooper are the guys that scare me. The rest of them, I think we could occupy blocks, and the running backs can do their thing. So it's really going to be on the running backs. All right, next up, Bobby King Caffeine 5010, another long-time listener. Do you think Joe Thuney is top 5 interior lineman in the league? Close. I don't think the thing with Thuney is he's very much technique, angles. He's not a strength speed type guy. Now, he's got good speed and good agility, don't get me wrong, but he's definitely not like next level. And his strength is definitely average. And so He works well at guard. He's kind of a one position guy. We seen him at tackle. It didn't look good. And so he works at guard and he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. But you got some guys out there, his old teammates, Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. You got some guys out there, to me personally, Tyler Booker, but then you also got Tyler Smith with Dallas. And obviously you got Lindstrom in Atlanta. So you got Q Nelson in Indiana. Some real good interior guys out there. It's not like a list of 25, but it's a good list out there. So I think he could be arguably top 5. But I mean, there's not really any guard that reminds me of like a Will Shields and back in those days that's like over the top dominant. Jason Kelsey was pretty good, obviously, but I don't know. There's not too many guys that give me like a dominant vibe, but there are a lot of guys that are pretty good. So I don't know. Top 5 is debatable, but I think he's honestly solid. And to be honest, like I'm starting to feel a lot like I talk about with the corners. If you've been listening, I've been saying this a lot. Like, I don't need an elite corner more so than I need 4 guys that are solid and know their assignments and consistent. And I'm starting to feel like that with interior. I don't necessarily need a knockout artist at guard, but if I could get 3 guys that are really solid and know their assignments, know angles, then we could get a lot done. And I feel like that's what the Bears been doing. All right, Mr. Marlon Moe, another longtime listener. Since it's Packers and Bears week, do you think the NFL playoff style with divisional winners, gets in and makes for better rivalry spirit and competitiveness compared to the NBA style best records? So I mentioned this pretty recently. I 100% do not like the current system. I'd rather it be by record. A lot of people talk about the division as far as rivalry and being competitive, and I'm like, if you win the division, you get in the playoffs, that's good enough. Because to be honest, when we got situations like last year, or I don't even know, it was maybe a few years ago, but where like the NFC South is terrible, and we got a whatever 7-win team, whatever, going in the playoffs. Like, to me, you being in the playoffs is sacrifice enough in terms of quote unquote competitiveness. Does that sacrifice need to extend into, okay, well, you get a home game to make it even more competitive? I don't think so, because like I said before, the 7th seed, which at least when I said this, I think it was the 49ers, they had 9 wins. The Bears moved up to the number 1 seed, they had 9 wins. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we talking about? I don't like the division being like a top seed. Like, if you win a division, you get in, I think that's motivation enough. Like, if we just got a weak division, NFC South, we've seen that, but also right now with the AFC West and what's going on and how crazy that is, it's like, look, if the Ravens and the Steelers are going to have a mid-off to figure out who wins, and then I end up in the 7th seed, I feel like you should be happy with that. It shouldn't be more than that. It should not be you got a top seed in a playoff game. So for me, I don't think it lowers the competitiveness or anything to have it where it's just based off record. So that's me. All right, so those were the questions. For tomorrow, man, there's just a lot going on. I don't think the Packers O line watching film are like obviously they lost. Oh, and I forgot in interior lineman you got Eldon Jenkins, root to the good bros. So I mean I don't think they're bullies. I think they give up a lot of leeway in a run in pass game, and that's one thing our D line is good at. And so I mean I don't think that matchup is insanely crazy. Obviously, the receiving core, especially without Kraft, is kind of scattershot. And then Jordan Love has been solid now, but he's inconsistent over all his seasons. The Bears defense, I always make fun of weak analysis, but this is my little bit of weak analysis. I'm not sure how we end up in these situations with these turnovers besides bad quarterback play, but we do. And so Jordan Love can at any time go into turnover mode, but the real question tomorrow is going to be that defense versus our offense, and that defense is not elite, it's not a game wrecker, but it has a lot of talent, it's pretty disciplined, it's pretty high ranking in most of their stuff. So their defense, I don't think at all is what people were trying to talk about in week 2, but it's definitely a top 10 defense easily. So we'll see. We know what the offenses look like against other units that aren't that highly ranked, and so we'll see. But I think there's 100% wrinkle in the run game for us to take advantage of, especially with the running backs playing the way they've been playing. And on top of that, Doomsday is out. I should mention too, Jalen Johnson is out, or not Jalen. Jalen's in. Tyree Stevenson is out, but so I just really expect a lot of misdirection and a lot of Caleb running tomorrow. That's what I expect. So, all right, so I'm running out of steam, but again, as I mentioned, if you're still listening, please utilize SpeakPipe. I want at least 2 of those by the end of tomorrow. Please go to SpeakPipe, leave a voice message, tell me what you think, get the fan engagement up. I know I'm sick and I'll hopefully be better soon, but I want the fan engagement up so we could eventually work ourselves up to some live shows. We did the lives before, or not a live stream, but at least like a live call in, and I've done it before. Nobody has stepped up, but I want to work our way up to that. So let's get that going. Thank you for listening. Share around, get the convo started. Thumbs up, subscribe. Remember, stay up, bear down. Let's beat the Packers tomorrow.